bridging the gap between goals and execution, OKRs and daily habits. Again, Anna, I know right now you're just like screaming with excitement about OKRs. No one probably knows about them. It's okay. I'm going to explain them. Okay. So once again, let's talk about the problem with goals. Big goals are set every single day, but never with a clear path to actually achieve them. Right? Again, this is how you know I made this PowerPoint because there's already a spelling error in here. But the point is, you can't hear me, Emily? Is it just Emily? Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry. The other thing is time flies without clear metrics. Here's what happens. Like we just talked about it, right? We set a big goal. Hey, this is what I'm going to do. And the next, you know, you blink 6 months, 7 months at this point has passed. And you're like, oh my God, I forgot I even was going to do this. We're not going to do that anymore. Okay. If we actually want to make an impact, we're going to change something. So what are OKRs? So OKRs was popularized by John Dewar. Now, granted, you can make an argument that Eisenhower, even Winston Churchill, there's various different people from the past that were doing something similar to this, but he kind of made it popular. So, but it's used right now by Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, Airbnb. There's countless other companies that are actually using OKRs to its full benefit. But here's again the issue that I have with OKRs, which I'll explain a little bit. But if you notice, everything that I teach you guys that comes from something else, I usually add a little bit of sauce to it. Okay, so we add a little bit of sauce to it, which I'll explain in a second. And so we're going to break down the OKRs, daily behaviors. So OKRs, it's only two things: objectives and key results. It's the only key components to OKRs. So your objectives are qualitative, inspirational goals, easy to understand, and bound by time. Okay, so inspirational goals, and they can be really big, but it's bound by time. So obviously, one of the things that we're going to do today is slap on the by January part to this, right? Now, the key metrics by which you will measure your progress. One of the biggest issues we have when it comes to goal setting, you got the biggest issue we have with goal setting is, how do you know you're making progress on that goal? If I'm being incredibly honest, I have seen many entrepreneurs quit on themselves. Many. Again, I've been doing this for 3 years. Worked with almost between 78 and 80. I don't know the exact number anymore. I used to keep track, but now somewhere around that, different entrepreneurs. And as I've said before, maybe 30% of them are actually still operating today. Now, that can mean that it could be of various different reasons. But in my humble opinion, the reason why those people have failed was because they didn't set the right milestones, the right metrics to track their progress, and they thought that they were far more behind than they actually were. And so they quit. Things got tough, and they didn't know how to look at how far they've actually come. And so they thought they were making progress, and they gave up. Only to realize probably later on that, man, they were just back to where they started with, or perhaps they've been just avoiding the thing that was going to get them out of the hole in the first place. So key metrics are incredibly important here. And this is where we slap some sauce on it. We're going to include daily behaviors, the actions you will actually take daily to move that needle forward. If I'm being honest, the reason why I've always hated goals is because they become too big. And what do I do every day? And how do I know if I'm actually making progress on that thing? The truth is, if we can just have a big goal, which is going to be your objective, we know the metrics we need to track so we can make sure we're keeping a hold of it. But only thing you should care about are the daily behaviors that's going to lead to that result that you want. That's the only thing we should care about. However, in order to understand the daily behavior, we must obviously know where we're headed in the first place. Now, I'll give you a quick story and a quick example. So as most of you know, I was, well, I still am a knuckle dragger, but back in high school, I was even more of a knuckle dragger. I used to be a wrestler. And I remember when I was wrestling in high school, I had a goal of becoming a state champion. I was like, I want to be a state champion in wrestling. My coach was an Olympic alternate, fascinating guy from wrestled in the 70s, back when arguably wrestling was like wicked crazy. Went over to Russia, Japan, all these places. And he said, we're going to win the state championship with 3 moves. That's it. We're going to win the state championship with 3 moves. In my mind, I was like, that's crazy. Because in my mind, wrestlers at that level could do everything, and they do everything well. And what he broke down to me was, if we literally perfect this, just 3 moves. Now, these are strategic moves. When people are on their feet, he goes, we need 1 takedown that nobody can stop. Okay, good. So every day we practice on that one every single day to the point where I just thought this is the most boring move in the world. And I could do it with ease. Then it became this thing. Well, if you get taken down, God forbid, or second period, you start on your ground. Now, granted, I know most of you don't know anything about wrestling, but it's fine. I started on the bottom. Yeah, I need to be able to stand up. So we practiced that to ad nauseam, like to the point where I just thought it was the most boring move in the world. And the final thing was I need to be able to score what's called near fall points. The point is only 3 moves I practiced for 2 years. And in 2 years went from literally not good at wrestling, average maybe, to a state champion. This also is how entrepreneurship works. We overcomplicate it. We've talked about this before. There's only 3 buckets to growth in business as a coach. Online anyway. Sales and lead gen, creation, and client retention. Those are the only 3 buckets that matter. Lead generation and sales, creation, which again could be building your offer, could be content, etc. And then last is client retention. If you do all 3 very well, those are your 3 moves, and nobody can stop them, there is no limit to where you could go in the business. My point is, though, if you don't have those 3 buckets, if you don't have those daily behaviors set, you're never going to achieve where you want to go. You have to have that first. So let's go back to the thing. How am I doing on time? Okay, look at that. I'm doing okay on time. This is wonderful. Normally I go over. All right. So those are OKRs. So I wanted to give you all an example of one that I actually did. This is my real OKR for Elevated. So if you're ever curious where we're headed, this is where we're going. And I know some of you know this, some of you don't. I took time, and this is sometimes something you have to do. We closed the doors of the academy recently. You guys, I think you guys know this. It was to reevaluate where we're going, where we're headed, and we're going to reopen here in the next few months. So before we open, I was like, I want to make sure that I have the right objective. So here's the objective I set for the academy. Objective: clear the path for new entrepreneurs hands-free. That's the objective. Clear the path for new entrepreneurs hands-free. Now, the one thing I'm going to add in there is objective description, because obviously if you read that, you may have no idea what I'm talking about. And why this is important is as you grow and you have a team, they have to understand the objective or the vision, right? So here's the description. Enroll 50 new clients without sales calls by 1/1/2023. So that's the objective, the description. I'm going to enroll 50 new clients without sales calls, hence hands-free. Okay. Key results. Here's how I'm going to know whether or not we're achieving these things. 30% of these enrollments are going to come from you guys. It's going to come from current clients. Referrals. So so normally you wouldn't have daily behaviors here. So do you see already where the issue would lie? Okay, 30% of the enrollments come from current clients. What do you do every day then to make that happen? Or do you just pray for it? You got to do something, right? So here's some of the daily behaviors I put in here, right? Post in the Slack daily with industry insights, accountability, and then we're going to run events like Twitter Spaces with all of you. And then obviously we're creating a affiliate program for you guys. So that way, when someone signs up using your link, you'll get money for it, whatever. The point is the daily thing. If I'm ever like lost on what I should be doing every day, I come to this daily behavior and I go, did I post in Slack today to obviously inspire the group, get the community talking, or share insights on what I learned today? No, I didn't. Okay, that's one thing I could do to actually get to the point where I'm building outstanding community, an outstanding experience for all of you to warrant you to talk about it to your audience or your people or whatever. All right. Twitter Spaces. How would Twitter Spaces, and this is the part where it gets interactive, unmute and tell me, how does running Twitter Spaces or any social audio with all of you help me be able to enroll people based on referral?
Someone could find you, and then like if they're doing like research, so they reach out to your followers or they reach out to people who they think are associated with you, so they might find one of us maybe and then ask our opinions.
That's good too. Yes, absolutely. That could happen. Emily, why did you enroll in Elevated when you first started? Maybe she got the kiddos.
Because, sorry, we're watching monster trucks on TV. Because I was really, really, really heavy on Clubhouse back then. And literally every single space that I went into, everyone knew Raylan. So before I knew Raylan, like I would host rooms and I knew other people that had worked with Raylan, or everywhere that I went, they would be like, oh yeah, there's my sales coach. And I kept hearing that. And eventually I reached out to Raylan and I was like, I guess I'm supposed to work with you because literally everyone that I work with works with you.
So the perfect example, thank you, Emily, is that in Twitter Spaces, for example, there's two primary benefits to doing something like that, which is one, you all in that room are going to mention that you're working with me, and then you probably love it. Good. Okay. Other people now see that. The other added benefit is this. If I'm in a Twitter space or social audio room with you, helping you promote you, helping you get out of your comfort zone and tell people about what you do, don't you think you'll get more clients? Yes. If you get more clients, that further proves the point that I can help, right? So it's another way to make the experience for you all a little bit better and warrant, again, more referrals or you to be evangelists for what we're doing here. Key result number 2, because some objectives need more than one key result. Okay, so in this case, I have 2. The second key result is 70%, because 30% minus 100%. Don't worry, I had to do the math. I did for you. 70% of the enrollments will come from content. Okay, I want 70% of enrollments into the program, into the academy, to come from just people watching content. So what's the daily behavior that's going to lead to it? Write one piece of content daily that can help a new entrepreneur get started. Because by simply writing one new piece of content, that one piece of content can turn into several different things. Like most of you, I think, know my process now, which is I write a journal in the morning, turn that into a Twitter thread, which then turns into carousels that we make, that Joshua makes. He does a beautiful job doing it. And then from there, turns into reels that I do. And then if we add up all the Twitter threads I do probably in that month or that week or whatever, it turns into a YouTube video. That's usually how I figure out what I'm going to talk about in YouTube videos. So now just from writing one thing every day, I'm able to literally do content across all of my platforms, which I'm pretty much on everyone, except for, I think, Pinterest, which I think we're on Pinterest a little bit, right? I think so. But we're across the board everywhere. Every single day we're posting. And it all comes from me writing one piece of content a day. That's it. Now, also, just for clarity, I wrote down the actual funnel itself, which would be, for example, YouTube to an email list to the workshop here, right? Twitter to YouTube/medium.com. I'm newly obsessed with Medium. And then which leads to an email list, which then is going to get to the email sequence and then converts over to either A, signing up, taking a free trial, or going to the workshop. The point is all of it comes from one piece of content. I know daily what I should be doing in order to make the objective happen. And now the final piece of this. Is everybody with me so far? I didn't lose anybody, right? Okay, good. So then the final part, again, here's where people mess up when it comes to achieving their goals. They don't do this part. Objectives to avoid, laws to uphold. There is a mountain of shit that are standing in the way between you and your goals right now. And you every day allow them to exist. I gave this example, I think, in our weekly intentions the other day. One of the values we wanted to create in the household was personal growth. To grow personally, Kayla and I should probably read some more books. So there was something that was in the way of that, and that was TV. So what did we do? In that week, we said, during the week, Monday through Friday, we will not watch TV. In that week, I read 2 books, whole ass books, finished. Whereas before, it would take me probably a whole ass month to finish a book. Okay, this week I'm on, again, 2 books we're going to finish. And that's even with my 3-year-old being home from daycare, which is nuts, by the way. Shout out to the parents out there running business with kids screaming all over the place. Crazy. Okay. So obstacles to avoid loss of hold. So there's two big obstacles, and I'm sure there's more, but there's two big obstacles that I put on here that I have to be aware of to remove the resistance of me getting there. Number one, no TV during the week. I just mentioned that one. This one's a different one. Never do something my team can do better. Now, some of you guys don't have a team. So for me, this is one of my biggest issues that are getting in the way is never do something that my team can do better. Because either A, I'm going to screw it up and get in the way and slow down the process, or B, even if they screw up something, if I jump in and fix it every time, they'll never learn. So the best way is for me to be able to do it. The two things that can get in the way of that is going to be me watching TV or doing something that's going to get in the way of me growing personally. Because where do you think all this content comes from, guys? Like, I just don't have new shit coming up in my head all day. I have to be able to have some input, right? Which is going to be reading. So any questions on this before I move over to like actually the bullet pointed version of this? Is this clear to you guys? At the end of the day, I can always go back. But here's the major points. You have the objective, the big goal. You have the objective description if it isn't clear. By the way, once again, bound by time. Then you have a key result, a daily behavior, and an obstacle to avoid. Those are the steps to solidifying a goal of that you're going to achieve in the next 6 months. So as usual, this is our workshop. This is what we do. We're going to do the damn work now. So what I want you to do in the next 10 minutes is you're going to write down, again, your objective for the next 6 months. I already gave you the time that you're going to be bound by. Next 6 months, what you're going to achieve. The objective description of that, if you need it. One key result, again, a metric, a number that you can track to make sure that you're actually on the, like, how will you know you made it is the question. The daily behavior every single day that you will be able to do. Think about the one thing, the domino effect. What's the one thing I could do every single day that if I just did that, I'm actually going to hit my goal? And then what do you need to avoid? What obstacles do you need to remove out of your path? Is there any laws that you need to set up to ensure that every single day you're doing that thing? So before I give you guys 10 minutes, what questions do we have about this process? What's more helpful, this or my example?
I think leave the example.
Example. Okay. I'll leave that one up. All right. 10 minutes on the clock. I love Ted Lasso, by the way, Anna. Amazing. Every single presentation, even some of the ones we've done for like SAP and some of the companies we've worked with, it usually has Ted Lasso in it. All right, guys, 10 minutes on the clock. We're going to do this now. Looking forward to hear everybody's stuff. Echo. Anna, let's hear those goals. Hold on. Let me pin you.
All right. Okay, so
Did you hear Kayla, by the way? She's like, she was about to take a drink.
thank you, Kayla. I'm gonna take a coffee.
You can take a drink. Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so
well, everyone started picking up their, Connor picked up his drink. I'm grabbing my coffee. We're all taking a drink.
gotta hydrate everyone, or at least caffeinate, maybe not hydrate. Coffee is probably the opposite of that. Okay, so for my objective with like the new thought on changing from just the general like productivity sort of stuff to more of like the systems building and everything. So my objective was make entrepreneur lives easier through systems and processes. The description would be help 20 new clients set up / automate a project management system. And then the two, the breakdowns from there. So the first one would around like
what is the, it's by the end of the year, right?
Oh yes, yeah. Sorry, by January. Okay, so then the first one, because this is a bit of a shift from what I was doing before, the first key result I had around like social media and just getting more known on that part specifically. So I know growth isn't the only thing, but trying to like come up with like an actual measurable sort of thing. So I put grow my social media account by 25%. And like right now, Instagram was the main one, but if we're switching to Twitter, I've had to come up with a different metric because 25% of 0 is 0. So I'd have to change that up if I end up shifting a little bit. But then the daily behavior around that would be creating one piece of content a day for at least one platform and then reusing like you do if possible. And then the second one would be to create 5 offerings, and the daily behaviors work for 30 minutes a day on creating templates and outlines, sort of things like that. And am I going through the whole thing? So like things to avoid and all this?
Yeah, what are you gonna, I'm curious, what are you gonna avoid?
So I have a tendency of like at lunchtime sitting down, like while eating, I'll just like throw on an episode of The Office. So instead, like maybe eat at my desk and then do something productive during lunch instead of like mindlessly eating while watching something. And then scrolling. TikTok has become a dark hole of educational, but also what does my sister call it? A death scroll or a death spiral sort of a thing. Like with all of like the negativity out there and stuff, you just get yourself. So anyways, I get down dark rabbit holes of TikTok. So I'm avoiding or maybe even deleting TikTok. Going to bed by 10:30, reading before work. And yeah, that's what I have so far.
So I love, by the way, can we give Anna a round of applause for going first? Great job. Nice. I love the strategy. I love the objective. The few things I wanted to add is so I didn't put it on the obstacles. So I already took care of it, but I don't know if Emily even knows this. I deleted my Instagram, not my whole account, but I deleted the app. So now, granted, we have somebody that posts for me, but I can still, if somebody messages me, I can still get to it through Facebook Business Suite. And the nice thing that's nice about that is that there's no scrolling. It's just I respond to comments through that, so that way I don't get caught up in scrolling. And so the reason I did that though was a little bit different, but I was also comparing a lot. So I'd go over to like Chris's page and I go, man, like my shit sucks compared to him. Like, fuck, or I go look at somebody else's stuff or whatever, I get lost. So I end up, to your point, I end up deleting the app. But here's the good thing is you could, and this is more work, and this is kind of the point. You could every day post what you have to post. And then literally you can engage the 10 minutes, do whatever, and then you delete the whole ass app every day. Re-download it, post, engage, delete. Now, there's going to be people that will tell you, like especially social media people are like, you got to engage, you got to do this, you never post and ghost. Here's the thing. I'm going to post and ghost, and here's why. Because at least then I stay mentally sane to be able to do whatever I want to do. Are you talking, Emily, are you talking to me or are you talking to your kid?
I'm wondering why the fuck you hired me.
Because that's the whole point. I post and ghost, but she still does all the work to make it happen. That's the beauty of hiring someone.
But don't tell people that if they haven't hired.
Okay, but hold on. Let me finish my thought, Emily.
Okay. I'm just going to turn off my camera.
Here is the issue with social media today. What you're facing right now, Anna, is this. If you, exactly, no notifications. If it's causing more harm than good, don't do it. There is more ways to make money than on TikTok, Instagram. There's 1,000,000,001 platforms. Like Chris and I were just discussing the medium strategy the other day. Okay. The medium strategy involves no need to go do anything else. You literally post on there, you maybe engage in some other articles, and then you're done. There is no endless sea of content on there. So absolutely, you could. The easiest thing is this, right? So you have an Emily, for example. Emily does more than just post. She doesn't post for me. Somebody else does, but she makes the content. So now I only write a piece of content, and then magically Emily shits out really good content. Now, you may not be there yet, which is fine, but everyone here on this call can afford to hire someone for like $200 on Fiverr to be a VA and post for them. What that does is it removes a lot of the resistance of online, the posting and then seeing everyone else's stuff, constant looking on insights every single day. That was my issue. My issue was every single time we post, I'm looking at, how was the reach? How many comments did we get? How many shares did we get? I was like over analyzing every single thing. We posted something the other day, and this is how I knew it was time for me to delete this shit. We posted something the other day and we missed some hashtags, and I was yelling at Kayla about it. hey, tell our VA that she missed some. That's way too much for me to be focused on. Instead, I need to be focused on the right behavior, which is make as good content as I can. Do the work, do it well, let go. Anyway, I went on a tangent there. But I just want to clarify, right? I'm not bashing social media people, Emily. I'm saying that as entrepreneurs, your job is not to be a quote unquote influencer or get a bunch of followers. Your job is to help people and to make money and get clients. You can hire other people to do what you have to do. Emily, go ahead.
No. You bring up a great point. I give Raylan a hard time, and I probably shouldn't do that in front of new people. But Adrian, it's out of love, because Raylan's just like the brother that I never really wished for, but I got, and now it's like, it's great. But you bring up a good point, and I think that it's really easy for everyone in here who started out in the social media content branding space, like analytics will be the death of you, right? Which is why I'm really, really trying to find a VA that I can rely on, because if not, like, I will be in analytics analysis paralysis, because it's really easy. Like, now I can go and do it for all of my clients and annotate it and then be done with it. But if it's mine, then I'm like, well, fuckingly, why is this post that you took inspiration from this post not performing, but theirs has like 50,000 views, right? So I think it's really easy for us to get into that. And I'm glad that Raylan has deleted the app, because if you try to come for Kayla again, you're going to have to go through me. Okay. So there you go.
So, and I'll get to the other two hands here in a second. I just want to finish this other thought, which is, look, analytics are incredibly important. And arguably they are the most, can you grab him? It's the whole reason we do things. But here's where people get messed up. And you guys all know, and I'm blaming this completely on Emily, because this tangent, this rant is because of, I blame Anna, because you brought up TikTok. Okay, so here's the issue with trending and the pointing and all this bullshit. Okay. The issue is this: we're doing it for the wrong reason. We're doing it to grow a page. Now, everything worth doing takes time to catch on. Again, keep in mind, you guys all know I'm obsessed with Alex Hormozi, okay? So Alex Hormozi did the floating head thing for a long time. He was just speaking and talking about value, giving value, giving value. He did it for a while, okay? And eventually he blew up. People weren't doing that at that time, though. There wasn't a lot of them doing it. It was the Gary Vee, it was him, Russell Brunson, like a handful of people that were doing that. And you could argue even before Alex Hormozi, right? It was Gary Vee was doing that shit before. And again, everyone was like, what's going on here? Okay, we want more cats laughing and people falling off things. That's what we were interested in. But over time, your audience finds you. You today can make a decision to only post super helpful things. Like, Anna, well, for you, I'm envisioning, like, literally, if you screen grab, TikTok's really good for this, actually. But if you screen grab Monday behind you and you're talking about some of the benefits of it, right? If you think about productivity, like one of the pieces of content I'm going to post about the Rocket Book, because while I'm going through coaching calls with you guys, I'm jotting down notes, and then I can scan that. And Chris has been seen it. I will literally scan, because the Rocket Book will scan and send. I send Chris my handwritten notes from our coaching call. So that way we're both on the same page. That's a productivity hack. My point is, when you first start, there's a really good chance no one's going to care about it. And then eventually it starts to spiral. No one stays with anything long enough to see the results. So anyway, final note. And then again, I know Karina and Chris wanted to say something. There's a difference between a live time and dead time. I think it was Marcus Aurelius. I could be wrong. It might've been Seneca. I don't remember. But they talked about a live time and dead time. It's the difference between being an autopilot versus being conscious. But a live time, we only have so much time. So the idea of like lunchtime going and watching The Office, there's nothing inherently wrong with TV. Everyone needs a little bit of just like numbness every once in a while. Nothing wrong with it. The problem is it's a live time. Like that is time that you can't ever give back, or get back rather. So if it could be spent 30 minutes reading about something, creating something, whatever, I think you're right, Anna, in that you could be more productive. And I think being productive gets a bad rap because everyone thinks like, well, when do you supposed to rest? You should never rest, but you should take leisure. Never rest. The only time you should be resting is sleeping. Never rest, but always go to leisure. What is the difference between leisure and what people consider rest? Rest is Netflix all day. That's what people think is rest, and it's bullshit. Leisure, however, going for a walk, going up north into the woods, or if you're fortunate to be around trees, we don't have trees in Arizona, but if you're fortunate to be enough to be around trees, going in solitude without your damn fucking phone and going and hanging out with some fucking trees. We should have told you this, Adrian, I swear a lot. But my point is that is leisure. Take leisure, don't take rest. Just fucking sleep. If you're tired, go to bed. Anyway, again, I blame Anna for this. This rant was not supposed to happen until later. Okay, Karina, by the way, thank you, Anna. Anybody else have anything for Anna before I let her down and then I let Chris and Karina speak? Final note for everybody, but obviously you're up here, Anna, so sign that bitch. If you wrote it out, sign it, and then take a picture of it, and I want you to put it in the accountability channel in Slack, okay? All right, Chris, you had something.
Oh, I just wanted to say, I hope this is helpful, but one of the things I do with my clients through improv is help them be unattached to outcomes. So it's like in an improv scene, you can't ever think like, oh, it's definitely going to go this way, because if you're wrong, then you get in your head and you stop being creative and you stop listening and all the bad things happen. But if you remain unattached to all outcomes, then you just become, much more productive. So to go back to posting things, it's like, yeah, I post this thing and I'm unattached to what happens next. If it goes off, hell yeah. If it doesn't, all good. I'm back tomorrow. I am unattached to the outcome.
Do the work, do it well, let go. Again, that's exactly why I deleted Instagram. I couldn't let go. I kept holding. How did it do now? Do the work, do it well, let it go. Like Frozen. And then
that should be on a t-shirt.
Yeah, well, I can't take credit for that. That came from Stillness is Key by Ryan Holiday. That's not mine. So that's 2 books now that we mentioned. Also, everyone else knows this. Adrian, just so you know, 3. You're getting an email after this. Kayla takes all the notes from the meeting, and then if we mention anything that we think is helpful, books, etc., she puts links in there for you guys afterwards. Just so you know. Karina, was it you that had something?
I'm really agree with what Chris said, and not to rely on the outcome is so true. That's why I tell my clients as well. But also what has worked for me, I don't delete the apps. I just turn off the notifications, because you get so distracted when you see the notifications. They're like, who liked my content? But I do believe engaging is important. I believe that way you can create more leads. You can create possible conversations that lead to an invitation to a podcast, maybe a public speaking event, anything like that. Also, not to live in any of the apps is something that I agree. Like, don't spend more than 4 or 5 hours. Like, that's crazy on Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn. And even the best thing, they get you distracted and they get you drifted away from what is the business that you want to grow. That is the leads, get more positive business to what you're doing and all that. So my suggestion is, if you don't want to delete them, because I know that sometimes drafts and reels and on TikTok they get deleted, turn on notifications off. It's gonna be better and less distraction. My suggestion.
Solid point. Sebian, can you give me 10 more minutes? I know I'm running late. You good to start in 10 minutes?
Yeah, we're all good.
All right, thanks, brother. All right, let's go with Kyle. Let's go through yours real quick. And I promise not to go on a huge rant this time.
You can't promise that.
No, I can't. I just straight up lied to you.
Yeah.
So my next 6 months. So I've been thinking too big. I need to get back smaller. So mine's developing my viral offer and leadership program to help sales leaders run their teams more efficiently, essentially run themselves. My first key result is get 3 testimonials on how this program has helped sales leaders grow and develop their teams. My daily behaviors, obviously between the posting on Instagram and LinkedIn, I need to be engaging with about 5 to 10 sales leaders on a daily basis that I know in the network, and go find 5 or 10 on a daily basis, getting feedback and struggles and challenges that they're facing. So that's my first daily behavior I need to do. My second key result I want by the end of the year is collect 20K by the end of the year through the coaching services. Daily behavior 2, write out and continuously refine the leadership development program. So what I'm working on now is like a 3 to 6 month program. So refining that based off the testimonials, the feedback, and then all the challenges that they're facing. My things to avoid, sleeping in with 2 kids and stuff like that, and I really, everything, but like getting up and getting out of bed like I used to around like 4 o'clock in the morning. Stop scrolling is a huge thing for me. But my most important thing to avoid is wasting weeknights and weekends. I feel like I waste a lot of weeknights and weekends after getting the kids down. There's another hour or 2 hours in there that I could really go into deep work. And then on the weekends too, holding myself accountable to making sure I'm doing, a few hours of deep work on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. So the thing you're going to avoid, when we say like wasting time, like what's the thing you will avoid?
As far as wasting time?
Yeah. Because wasting time feels really big, right? That we want to get really small on a behavior. So what's the thing that we need to avoid?
It's a really good question, because right now I feel like I have way too many things I'm focused on. And you kind of know what those things are. I just need to get on a schedule, because it's not like I'm watching a ton of TV. It's not like I'm, doing a ton of those things. I just have 3 different jobs I'm focusing on right now. So I need to schedule out each portion of that and making sure I stay to a very systematic schedule. And right now I'm not scheduling them out. So if something comes up, my mind's already going from one project to the next. So I need to schedule my time out a lot more, but I also need to make sure that I'm waking up earlier so I can actually start that plan well. Because if I have an hour before my kids get up, I already know that I've accomplished probably two or three things.
Maybe the thing we're avoiding in the second at night is other things other than your job.
Yeah.
Like in terms of building the program. So Monday through Friday, from what time does the kids go to bed?
Like 7:30.
Okay. So same as mine, actually. So between the hours of 8 and 10, the only work I'm going to do is for Kyle.
Yeah.
Now, maybe in the morning between 6 and 8, it's going to be the day job or going to be Genius Network, whatever. Right. But I would block it out. Like the only time that I work on this thing is during this. So the thing we're avoiding is actually distraction of other outputs. Does that make sense?
No, that makes complete sense. And that's what I need. I need that actual like block of time that I need structured.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been struggling with.
Okay, good. I like it. And by the way, especially with your offer, 20K, that's one client. Like if it's done right, that could be one client. So that's a fun thing about what you do. But yeah. Also, we gotta get together here soon in person and let's talk through your thing. Cause that's like what you're doing, like I want to do, but I don't have time for. So I have tons of ideas still to give you on that. So
yeah, we definitely need to sit down. We have a bunch of different things to talk through.
All right, let's go with one more person who wants to go through their goals. Just need one more. Otherwise, I'm going to pull you up. All right, let's go. Oh, Adrian. Okay, come on, newbie. Gotta get on up here.
All right, sweet. So my objective within the next 6 months overall is I want to start getting my first couple of clients with the coaching business that I'm going to be launching. So the first thing is create a sales training program that makes sense for me And the daily behavior that I'm going to do for that is each day just add one new piece of material for my training program. That way I can just keep building it up and getting to a point where I feel confident to just officially launch it. The second thing is reach 2,000 followers on Instagram. I was taking a bunch of notes when you guys were talking about social media, so I might tweak that a little bit more, but the daily behavior is just going to make daily content / posts teaching others about selling in person. And then I really liked your idea about creating a Twitter page and using that to actually create Instagram reels and things like that too. So I'm going to do that. And on top of that is I'm going to read daily so that I can have more content ideas. Objectives to avoid, pretty much the same thing as everybody else. Monday through Friday, just don't watch TV, play any games, like things like that. And then limit my time on the phone for actions that are more productive than just getting sucked into the getting drowned out on social media.
Yeah. What do you do for your day job right now?
I do software sales.
Okay. By the way, I think the three of us will jump on a call, Kyle, because Kyle's also a sales coach, but also he's in the same thing. And so anyway, but my point is during this time you can eat. That's good. I want to tell you this. I want you to be open to the idea that your clients won't come from Instagram. And now you're going to look at everything, because here's the truth, right? We don't know your skill set yet in terms of what platform would you best be able to leverage. Like there's something we figured out, right? With like Joshua, for example, I'm trying to push him over to more writing stuff like Twitter, Medium, because that's his strength. As you can tell, I'm a fucking talker. So social audio and Instagram is obvious for me. Right now, I'm pushing myself to do some writing because I hate doing it and I enjoy suffering. But anyway, my point is we got to figure out what your thing is. And eventually you're going to be everywhere. But we're going to dominate one platform. And it just, again, everyone, just because you've seen one person do it well on Instagram, doesn't mean whatever. Like, perfect example is it doesn't matter how much money we've made, but we do well. $0 in the last 4 months have come from Instagram. Not 1 cent. It's all come from LinkedIn. Now, if you would have told me when I first started 3 years ago that I was going to make a whole bunch of money on Instagram, or LinkedIn rather, I would have been like, get the fuck out of here. No way. It's all Instagram, baby. Instagram all day. I was wrong. So my point is play around with the platforms, date around a little. Okay. Nothing wrong with slutting around on platforms. Okay. A little bit. And then eventually you can marry one, but you gotta experiment a little bit. Okay. Just see what's out there. You don't know what you like. Anyway, let me shut the fuck up. All right. I'm saying not slut around with people. I'm saying platforms. Listen, I didn't know how great I had it when I met you until I met some demon people. Okay. So it's important to experience life.
I know that already.
Okay. Anyway, you can't see her, but my fiance is right here. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.